I have Philip Cruz from Sisk, I've got David Phelan from Suirengineering, and I've got Cathal Quinn from EMEA Materials. So welcome. So the first thing, I'm going to get you guys to introduce yourselves. I know nothing more about you than your name, so it's going to be up to you from now on. And what I'd love to do when you're introducing yourself is just tell me a little bit, and tell the audience a little bit about where you are as a company and this kind of international journey and this exporting journey, okay? So, Philip, over to you.
Thanks, Michelle. My name's Philip Cruz. I'm with Sisk now just 13 months. I joined from a small American multinational called Microsoft, where I was for 18 years working in their data center organization. So Sisk were looking to take that experience over to their own data center team to try and expand their client portfolio. Where we are currently, I think everybody in Ireland will know Sisk. We started back in 2010, I think, venturing outside of Ireland and across Europe, and we're currently working pretty much across all the countries that were listed up there from Gary's map earlier on with our clients, not just in data but also in pharma and life sciences too. So that's where we are.
Super. Thanks, Philip. Dave?
Hi folks, my name is David Phelan. I represent Suirengineering. We're an M&E installation company working mainly in pharmaceuticals, data centres and renewable energies. Renewable energy being wind farms, solar farms and that type of environments. We're a business of almost over 1,300 people currently working for us. Those people will be made up mostly of trades, M&E trades. About 800 of those are electricians and plumbers, and the rest are made up of support staff that would support those teams across those sectors that I mentioned. We've travelled internationally with approximately 25 years, and I would say at the moment 25-30% of our business is internationally. More focused now on the Scandinavian area, specifically Denmark and Sweden and in Germany, and the rest of our business is back in Ireland. But we would have travelled extensively across the globe over the last 25-30 years, carrying out all that types of work. We're a business of approximately 230 million euro annual revenues. That's the size of the scale of the business. That's it, Michelle.
Lovely. Thanks, Dave. Cathal?
Cheers, guys. There's nothing left to say.
Yeah.
No, thanks very much. I'm Cathal Quinn from EMEA Materials. We are very similar to Philip, I suppose. We're 12 years now working internationally. I'm personally working in EMEA the last 16 years. We are a privately held Irish Indigenous company. I suppose supplying into the buildings that these guys are building and fitting out with MEP equipment. Our provision of materials and services in relation to the building envelope. So we help design and supply and oversee the install of the building envelope for data centers. In simple terms, we put lids on data centers. Equally to the guys, we're also involved in the life sciences side of the as well. And yeah, the last 12 years working around Europe and across most of the countries as well, 12 to 13 countries across Europe. We are fully service focused, so we have no installing contractors, no installing people. We are a design, implementation, and service led organization.
Thank you very much. So, you've all talked about this kind of exporting story. You know, there's a lot of experience here, there's a lot of export, there's a lot of people involved in this. Talk to me a little bit about how you moved from being a local business servicing a local national market to one that's exporting, either all over Europe, all over the world, internationally. Can you tell me a little bit about that? How did it start? How did it happen for you? Dave?
If I explain to you maybe a bit about the why, then I'll go about the how. So why, for two main reasons. A customer of ours asked us to replicate a project that we did previously in Ireland, and could we do that in a new geography? And the second one was we wanted to grow our business internationally. That was the two reasons why. How do we do it? And basically what we done was with that customer that asked us to travel to this new geography, we did the usual desktop research of the reasons of how to get into it, the local economics, the business reason. And after that then we went in country to have a look at exactly what was going on there, understand the local regulations, the supply chain, the various activities that goes on in that country, that we could trade and do business in a proper way. We joined the usual industry bodies that got us into the business network in terms of identifying how we could best do business there, in terms of openness, getting us access into the supply chain, and so on and so forth. So they were the main reasons, I suppose, of how we grew. And then I suppose we built on starting our first project there, we built the second project and the third project in that particular country. So that's really what happened.
Very much following the client model.
Well, yeah, I suppose we're a business that we were not that widely spread across Europe or in fact Ireland. But when a customer, develops that relationship with you, the best way to grow your business is where are you doing it elsewhere, and could we offer them value in a new geography? So basically, that's what we did do, and what are you doing, where are you doing it, and would that suit the profile of our business? And that's how it started.
Super. Thanks, Dave. Cathal.
Yeah, I'd love to say that there was a big, huge master plan. It was survival and opportunity. 2010, death of the Celtic Tiger. We were, a market-leading company in Ireland in what we do, but the market shrunk by 65-70%, and we needed to survive. So we looked initially to our closest market, which was the United Kingdom, and went there. And then after that, I suppose, looking at the sub-sectors that were most beneficial to us and where we're most unique, and that was data and pharma. So we started to look at opportunities for Phelan. Yeah, the opportunity, as David just mentioned, was exactly the same clients that we'd worked successfully with here. We looked at opportunities to work with them in other countries. We started with one project in the Netherlands, and it's grown now to multiple projects across multiple regions, just following that service-led kind of focus. And that's been it, really.
Super. Thanks, Cathal. And Philip.
Yeah, it's a little bit of rinse and repeat there. Three similar stories. Our data and ICT business in Ireland, really, and pharma. The key clients we built over the years, they wanted us to look internationally with them because of the work we delivered for them. So it's a similar story. We've been in Africa, we've been in the Middle East. There's a period of our work in Eastern Europe that didn't work out for us. I don't have all the details, but I think from that we really look to our key clients. If our key clients want us to go somewhere, then we'll do all the due diligence that Dave mentioned, and we'll certainly work with them on it. We make a concerted effort.
Super. And so you've kind of all touched here on, you're following clients pretty much, right? You're also doing expansion in the market, outside your client work, but predominantly it's working with clients in market. So what is it about, you're going to a new market, there are other suppliers in that market. So what is it about you guys? What is it about being Irish, or you're, from Ireland, or a company from Ireland, do you think that has kind of paved the way for you to enter new markets, even with those existing client relationships? Why is it that, is there something about this market that's helping you to launch into new markets?
I think for us anyway, especially, it was definitely, I suppose, that opportunity, following that opportunity, but also, I suppose, with very much Irishness, the willingness to go wherever it took at the start, and do whatever it took. Planes in the middle of the night, in the middle of the morning, working from hotel rooms when you had to do it. Fake it till you make it, to an extent, if we're being very honest and blunt in this room. And I think outside of that, it was really, I think the main piece for us was, you mentioned it, that Irishness, that willingness to work with our client, listen to what they require. They stand on your head on Tuesday and touch your ear, you did it. And why? Because it gave you revenue opportunities, and we're commercial entities. And the how was, and it's all about those relationships, developing those. And look, let's be honest, we're dealing with American multinational clients who've been building in Ireland for years. So we're lucky, we speak the English language, they're designed and built through the English language, UK and Irish and American engineers and architectural practices. So it gave us the benefit to utilise those relationships. And I suppose in certain countries, Scandinavia, the Nordics were mentioned, without going outside, because we're not on site doing work, we're lucky we're doing it from here. But we're willing to work all the hours under the sun, and to do that to keep the client happy and to get the opportunities. And I suppose we're willing to go the extra mile, and I think we brought that level of experience. And Gary mentioned it earlier on, the starting with the IT processing with the pharmaceuticals and then into data. We had a lot of learnings of working with American clients for over 30 years, before 25 years by the time we went there. I think that was a big thing for us.
Super. Thanks, Cathal. And Philip.
Yeah, Carl's touched on a lot of it. It's certainly the Irish and the cultural, and I think just our attitude to work and the way we work, and it's transferable. I mean, we've been exporting Irish labour for so many years now, and it's been very successful for us. There's a trust. Once those American multinational clients that we have, they build up a trust with us, and they do trust the companies. As you look across ICT, pharma, it's the same people all the time. You come across the same people, come to these events, you meet the same people all the time. It's the same contractors working with those key clients. So I think, it's a great success story for us. It's all down to our attitude.
As well, just to add to what the guys have said there, we have a bit of fun doing it. We enjoy it, and I think that rubs off on our projects. I know most of the projects we're doing internationally, they're multicultural people involved, and they just like what Ireland has to offer in terms of their socially, from a point of view of they're a bit of fun, a bit of crack, I think, to add to what the lads have said.
So a lot of fun. And so you touched on something there just about how it's very client-led, but actually when you are, on site with clients, you're seeing a lot of the same people around you. Do you see that as a really valuable part of it? So yes, it's client-led, because I'm trying to think of like the people here in the audience and what they actually want to get out of this. If you want to expand internationally, is there a value then, not just that network or trying to get in with a client, but also that network with the supply chain, with the ecosystem around it, that can actually help you get into those situations and help you get into those kind of safer, exporting situations?
Just touching on that point, you need help internationally, big time you need help. And we find even with competitors where they take the shirt off your back here in Ireland for a project, and they would internationally as well, but they're there to help internationally. So if we had a problem in a country, we would contact both client, competitor, main contractor, supplier. They're easier accessible, I think, internationally. And if anyone was thinking of going, the competitor they're still a competitor here in Ireland, but still they're there to support you. We're Irish people travelling internationally, growing Ireland Inc., supporting the end customer at the end of the day. And they're all there to support each other. Once we're on a project, we're trying to get it done the best, the safest, the most successful way for that customer. And we all work together. So you'd reach out to those people if you do get into bother, and you do, in terms of resources, supply chain, especially for someone going out there first time. Don't be afraid to ask the question, who can help me here? Because you get help over there faster than you do to get it here, I find anyway.
Super. Yeah, great. Thank you for that. And so, last question. What's the piece of advice or something you'd like to share with other companies who are in this position, who are looking to export, who are looking to grow internationally? What's the one piece of advice that you would give them? So I'm going to go with Philip.
Due diligence. You have to do your due diligence. Like both from a contractor and client side, we saw it in Microsoft when we first came outside of America. The first data center build outside North America was in Dublin with Sisk, coincidentally. But when we moved country to country, then we kind of expected the same experience everywhere we went, and that's not the case. You have to look at what local labour laws are, like what's the political situation in the country, corruption, weather, everything. You really have to go, and you have to put yourself in that country and not maybe take a group of Irish people who worked in Dublin and then try and transport them in and go build a data centre the way the Irish do it. It doesn't work that way. You have to tap into the local resources, local community. So that would be do the due diligence.
Super. Thanks, Philip. Dave.
It's wrong to say don't go.
Yeah.
Is it? I know. I would say that for us or for me, it would be identify one of your key people from Ireland to lead up the operation internationally. That's from a point of view of starting up in an international or in a foreign country. It needs to be. I feel it needs to be one of your own that understands your business, understands exactly how it operates in Ireland, and can, address the needs fast in the business over there, as opposed to somebody newer into the business or go looking for somebody.
Yeah.
And then they'll know who to contact back home if you need support. That would be one of the key things. Another one would be reach out to Enterprise Ireland. They have some serious support across all economies, all geographies that are there to help, and use them. They're there to help us, to support us. And they were probably the two key things that we would have learned, that we didn't do either of them when we started our first job.
Yeah.
We didn't send one of our own, and we forgot to contact Enterprise Ireland. But as we kind of learned and got through it, we understood that those services are there, and we reached out to them. And one last one, actually, it's your terms and conditions you sign up for in Ireland. Have a look at them. Don't sign up for the same terms and conditions. Now I'm talking about, we would work with existing clients, long relationship with them in Ireland, transferring that relationship internationally. The terms and conditions that you have signed up for in Ireland, you need to relook at them for international, because it is more expensive and there is more challenges. And the client will be interested in renegotiating, because ultimately he or she wants you to go there, I would say. So don't be afraid to go back to the document and say, can I get paid in a month's time? Can I get paid up front? Can I get paid for materials on site? Have that discussion, because if you don't have that discussion, well, they'll just put you into 90 days or 60 days or whatever you had in Ireland. That's my bit anyway.
That's a very practical tip. Thank you.
The Enterprise Ireland one is very important actually. From a contractor perspective, we work closely with them as well when we're looking at other countries. So yeah, it's very, very important.
Super. Thank you, Phil. Cathal, last word to you.
I haven't left anything, have I? No, I think everything the guys have said, but I think for me it's definitely, look, identify your core uniqueness. I know it's a very kind of corny type thing to say, but it's really true. Like, understand the clients you've worked well with, you work well with them for a reason, and there's something they appreciate and that you bring to the table. So develop and understand what that is, and understand where are the right places and the right people to follow and go with, where you're bringing value. Because, at the end of the day, if you don't value it, if they don't value it, you're going to struggle to sell it against the people who are in that local environment. It's impossible. And the other piece is, it's been said here, I think Gary said it over the time as well, you have to respect the local territory you're going to, their culture, the compliance piece. And a big line for me is always, we're saying to people, we're not coming to the Nordics, Germany, Netherlands, Denmark, wherever it is, to upset the local construction sector. We're there to support the local construction sector and hopefully develop relationships with the local construction sector and bring that skill set and that knowledge there. And the last word and piece is, ignorance is definitely not bliss. So do reach out to people that have already done it, learn from their mistakes. Myself and Gary have talked about this numerous times. If you can learn from somebody else's experiences or mistakes, it's a free lesson. My granddad taught me it about 40 years ago, so yeah, or tried to, and I think it's really important. So that's what I do.
Thank you so much, Cathal. And Cathal is, on that note, is going to share his mobile number with anybody who wants it for advice free. So thank you very much. Cathal, Dave and Philip, you did really well. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Michelle. Thank you.